Okay guys, this is LeroyDiesel.com. Just making another video. This is going to be for my lift pump relay harness. What this does is it will take the load off of your ops, the oil pressure sensor, and also provide full 12 volts with a direct battery voltage to your lift pump. Normally it goes through 18 gauge wire, which is just way too small even for the factory lift pump. But when you upgrade to a Walbro FRC10, FRB5, a Raptor 100, basically any lift pump, you really need to be running a relay on that thing. So this is what I've come up with. This is a harness I built. I have it sort of semi laying there to give you an idea where it's going to install. So what I've got, this is a 1994, so from 92, and actually even back further if you have an electronic pump, but 92 all the way up to 95 would take this style relay harness. And let me zoom in there. I have the relay harness right here. I'm going to zoom back out so it's not shaking so bad. Okay, right here is the new relay harness that would come in the kit. It has a mounting tab here. Underneath the black plastic cover, which is normally here, you pull this off, and I don't know if it'll focus, but right there it says optional relay. And so that's the spot I'm going to mount this, where the optional relay would go. You may or may not have a screw here, but if you don't, just drill a tiny hole there and then get a self-starting screw and then mount your relay right there. The power wire is as simple as this is a fused power wire, and it can go on any of these studs right here. You just pull one of those off and then secure this underneath one of those studs. The ground is right here, and I'm either going to mount that right here on the intake manifold, or I could mount it further down on the intake manifold again right there. I'm probably just going to mount it right here. Also forgot to show you this while I was showing you the relay, but so once you have the power wire hooked up, I also incorporate a momentary contact switch here, and what that allows you to do is anytime you push this button, that will power the lift pump on. So if you're up here and you're back here changing your fuel filter and you got a bunch of air, then you just open the bleed valve on it and press this button until fuel comes out, and then let off the button and tighten the air bleed, and you should be bled out. I happen to have mine relocated. It's up here, just so if you saw that I didn't have a filter back there, I've got it relocated. Okay, so that's the connections up in the engine compartment. Then you have this long wire, which is going to run down to the actual lift pump, and you can see I got it coiled up here. This will be your two connections down at the lift pump. This is just like what you have down there already from the truck harness, except that you can see that this is much thicker wire. It's a 12 gauge automotive wire. Actually, it's marine grade wire, and it'll flow the full battery voltage to the lift pump. All you need to do is your lift pump, when you get down there, this is just like your factory lift pump, same connector, and it has this style 2-pin connector on it. You just unplug it, and if you were reusing this pump, then you would plug, it's hard to work with one hand here, but you get the idea. You just plug the matching connector into it, and then you would take the connector that's on my harness and plug that back into the truck harness. So, you know, real simple. Should be very, very self-explanatory once you get under there and see. It only goes one way, and so that's about it. I'm going to walk up to my other truck here real quick and show you what this looks like on a 96 and newer application. So just give me about 5 seconds here and I'll show you that. Okay, so here I am at the 96 truck. On the older models in this, the power junction box and everything was over there, so I just decided to mount the relay over there. On the 96 and newer, I just put it over here. There should be a screw right here, and you can mount your relay here, or you can drill a new hole wherever you want to mount it. The power wire is very similar. It's a fused 12-volt source, and so I've got the fuse and everything here. And on the 96 and newer, you'll have this cover here that pops off, and on the back you have terminal A and B. They're pretty heavy studs here, right here and here, and you can hook this to either one, because basically your battery cable comes into that, so you'll be getting a good current flow at that location. The other connection, just like on the other harness, is another ground wire. This one's a little bit longer wire, and you just route it over to the intake manifold. You can put it on the upper intake plenum bolt, which is probably where I'll mount this one, or down here, which I have it occupied. See if I can even get that. This bolt, which normally holds the decorative 6.5 plastic cover on, you can mount a bolt there and get your ground there. Same thing with the momentary contact switch. Once you get the power hooked up, a fuse in there, you'll be hot, and you can push this at any time to, and that would be any time when the key's off, any time. And that way you can activate your lift pump. And again, this setup is a little different. I do have the fuel filter mounted in the stock location here. I've got an electronic sending unit on it that goes to my gauge, which is kind of all covered up. But that's my fuel pressure tap that I sell on my website also. Give a little plug for that. You can just run a manual hose here and just run a hose into the cab. But if it ever breaks, you're going to get diesel fuel inside your carpet and all that. So I just chose to go with an electronic gauge. This one I actually have run down to the lift pump already, so I won't be able to show you the connections, but it's exactly the same thing as I just showed you on the 94 model. You just unplug the original, excuse me, you unplug the original lift pump, plug my harness onto it, and then the other connector will go onto the truck harness. So it's very, very simple. It's really about a maybe 10-minute install to get this thing fully installed. So that's about it. If you have any questions, you can give me a call. The best way is 713-408-0423. I am Central Time, so try not to call me at 3 in the morning or 10 o'clock at night. The other ways, you can email me, info@leroydiesel.com, and that's about it. I hope you guys will check out my website. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.